What's up, fam? Thanks for tuning in once again, or for the very first time. I'm JasperTheFilmie. Now, it's been 1 full month since my last upload, and I apologize if you follow me consistently. I've just been really busy wrapping up my first term as a college professor, and I've learned a lot of lessons, which is why I'm making this video, to talk about some of those lessons I've learned in my first term as a college professor. So if you're someone that's thinking about becoming a college professor and you want to hear some tips and advice, this is definitely going to be the video for you. If you're someone that's looking to hear from another college professor and you're new at it yourself, this is definitely going to be for you. And if you're someone that just likes to hear Jasper and follow some of his content and stories, well, this is also for you too. So I'm gonna get straight into it. Like I said, the purpose of this is to share some of my experiences with you so that you can kind of get an understanding about the world of being a professor. Now, I've never ever taught a day in my life. Never. I had some jobs where I did train people, but never ever taught like in a classroom setting, you know, with students. Never. Something that really surprised me, that is still surprising me, is just the back end work that professors do, the stuff that professors do outside of the classroom. I would tell you, look, if you're thinking about becoming a professor, a new professor, make sure you understand all of the duties that you have to fulfill outside of the classroom, because you really do have a lot going on, from communications with the school, communications with the students, university relations. You get a lot of emails, just so you know. And all of those emails are really relevant. I don't say that every university and school will do the same thing. Like my school, I teach in the communications department, but I will say that I'm certain that your school, if not most schools, are gonna have some type of operations that will involve the professor working and doing stuff outside of the classroom. So if you're going into this gig, you know, make sure you understand all of the things you gotta fulfill, the deadlines, when things are due, attendance, the policies, the events you gotta show up for, the functions, all of those things, because that is a big bulk of your work. And I thought starting out that I was going to struggle with things inside of the classroom, which I will get into, but it is never ending. And of course you got grading, which I'll talk about towards the end. So here's the deal. After spending a full term, semester, whatever you want to call it, in the classroom, I learned a lot about myself. Yeah, I learned a lot about how people receive me and the information that I give to them. And on the flip side, I also learned how I deliver information to people too at the same time. Yeah, strengths and weaknesses definitely played out in all transparency, you know? And I share that openly with you. You might be one of my students watching this and not knowing I really went through all of that. But I share all of this openly with you because you might be a person like me in the very beginning that had or has natural concerns on how you will show up to your students. And that could mean a lot of different things. That could mean, you know, how you look in front of your students, how you sound in front of them, you know, or if the information you're sharing with them is really pertinent and will help them grow. You could have those natural concerns on how you will show up as a teacher and as a professor. It's natural. If you're a person that really does care about giving your students a great learning experience so that they can evolve and do great things, you take it serious, you will, in the very beginning, if you've never done it before, will have natural concerns about it. And I'm not one to have fears of speaking in front of people or getting stage fright. You know, I've never really been that way. Even as a boy, I've always been extroverted, one that likes meeting people, being out and about and talking with people, and I had my doubts. And you might be the opposite. You might be introverted and could be saying, yeah, Jasper, you know, I'm the complete opposite. I'm telling you that because we both are on the same keel with that. That's just, I think, honestly, a natural human tendency if you really do care about people. So I will say this, something that I learned through this term is just how valuable it is to just be real, in the classroom, to just be a real person. And this term really taught me, just the art of just being a real person and just really me being me. And that's really what's valuable enough to learn from. This is something that helped me, and this is something that might help you. When I think about some of the teachers and professors that made an impact in my life, really made impacts, really made memories for me, things that I learned from. Realistically, I don't remember anything they taught. Well, I can't say I don't remember anything, but a lot of the stuff they taught in those classrooms, I don't remember most of it. But I do remember their personalities. I do remember, the things that made them great people on top of their knowledge on the subject matter they taught. Like Miss McGill, for example, in my 5th grade. I always talk about Miss McGill because Miss McGill, she had this strong voice. She was my 5th grade math teacher. She had a strong voice that really told the kids, hey, like, yo, this is authority. And she really did teach us, how to really decipher authority in people, and, I think about, in high school, my math teacher, Miss Hazelwood. Miss Hazelwood was, well, first of all, Miss Hazelwood, if you're watching this, thank you, because I wouldn't have been a professor because I would have never graduated high school because Miss Hazelwood, was a big portion for me learning stuff in math that was really hard, and I had a natural anxiety to math because of struggling with math. She had a nice personality, and she was really great. I think about Miss Simmons, or Miss Morgan now. She's married, but I think about Miss Morgan, how she just taught me how to not give excuses when I don't do my job. I think about, I can go on. I think about Dr. Blackwell, who was really crazy, by the way, but was really smart and really made you think outside of the box, where it really propelled something in my mind to not be the Jasper that I was when I came in his classroom, because he just had a way of just making you think differently because he was a different cat. I think about Dr. Tuttle, and August Wilson and Fences, and the conversations we had, and how I learned how just sometimes discussions can go a whole lot deeper than we could ever think they can go. All of these professors and teachers all had great personalities, all had things that really helped me get to where I am today. And I say all that to say that, whatever teaching style you may have, whatever person you are, you have something about you that's really special, that when you tap into it, your students are going to benefit from it. And in many occurrences during this term, I learned that in full play with my students. When I just was being Jasper, but I was really talking to the things Jasper was really passionate about, that's when I was making sparks. That's when I was feeling myself. That's when everything was clicking. So your subject matter, your information, but at the end of the day, be you. Go in that classroom and be you, and be real. The students will value you. They will. And the ones that don't, that's a lesson that they will have to learn in life, So another thing that I learned this term, and advice that I would give to you, is to not take the actions and behaviors of your students personal. What I mean by that is, you got to accept the reality that not every student is going to pass your course, and not every student is going to take advantage of some things you may do that will most likely help them succeed in your course. It seems simple, but it wasn't until I experienced it, but I really grasped what it felt like, and it kind of made some things click for me, and thinking about some of my past teachers and professors, why they were the way they were. It could be really hard when you go through experiences where students just don't take advantage of things that you may do to help them. That could be a really hard pill to swallow, and if you're not careful, you know, you can build up so much bitterness that can bleed into how you interact with other students. And I can kind of taste some of that happening with me briefly, not long, but briefly. So I will tell you, you know, going into this, to not take a lot of the things that students may do personal, because at the end of the day, they're learning, and you have to do everything as a teacher, a professor, with the purpose of educating and teaching. You know, so if you're a hard person, if you fail a student, at the end of the day, it was their actions that led to them getting the results that they got. If you are someone that, you know, allows a student extra time to do an assignment, there's a teachable moment in that. Everything has to have a teachable moment in it. And that's the way I would recommend you to take care of yourself in the long run, and ultimately make sure you're giving students a great version of you that will always be productive. I hope some of these tips helped you. I always am sharing my experiences and journeys on this channel. So if you liked everything that I shared thus far, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. There's more stuff to come. And I have another video popping up right there that you can check out. I will do another recap sometime from now to just look back at myself and see if I needed more advice after some more time and experience. So until next time, capture life and create visions.